What is up, party people, and the place to be? If you don't know me, that's fine. But I have been teaching online for about the past 8 years. If you just look at my links below, you can tell I am who I say that I am. And these reasons are coming from me having over 100,000 students, right? That is coming through Udemy courses, and I've got Gumroad courses, and I was on Teachable for a little bit. Now I'm moving over, but I have been a teacher, and I also have a Facebook group that has about 8,000 people in it. And this is what I feel are 7 key reasons people fail at art. And they may surprise you. So this is not, I've been doing talks like this in the Facebook group for a while. And I figured I would just put it up on the YouTube channel because I haven't made a video in a minute, but I thought that this is pretty good to start with. And I just put it up in a little folder here to make it easier for me because I don't really like to edit. So 7 key reasons people fail at art. Let's get into this. I need to be motivated. So often I have students that are saying things like, well, I just can't find the motivation to draw, or I really want to make my own comic, manga, game, absurd thing that you want to make. I just can't find the motivation. I can't find the motivation. You doing art has nothing to do with your motivation. I don't even believe in motivation. I feel that you are either going to do it or you are not. You don't have to feel motivated. Nobody cares about your feelings. You want to know why? You probably go to a job that you absolutely positively hate more than anything. But no matter how much you don't feel motivated to be there, you got to be there because you cannot pay your bills in motivation. At least the last time I checked, you could not. You don't have to be motivated. You need a plan. You need action. You need a step-by-step plan. That's what's stopping you, or at least one of them. This is a big one. In the age of social media, you are worried about likes. What I've seen a lot of times from students, they get to a point where they will get into this kind of comfort zone where people give them likes, or they'll do fan art, they'll do a popular character, and there's nothing wrong with fan art. Please don't think that I'm dissing people doing fan art. But when you are doing it because you're too afraid to do other things and you're scared of, because you've received likes. So if you draw a picture of a really popular, let's say you draw any character from, say, Demon Slayer or Naruto, or you draw Gambit or Superman or whoever it is, and you get 4,000 likes wherever you post it at, Instagram or whatever. And then all of a sudden you post some of your own original stuff and you don't get any likes. By the way, this is not anything that's new. Back in the day when I was on the independent comic book circuit, like 20 years ago, I would see artists in Artist Alley and professional artists who were known for doing certain books. Their own original characters didn't sell very well as far as prints went, like when they were selling physical prints. But if they drew a picture of Superman or whoever the character they were known for doing, that would do really well. So it was a way of receiving likes before likes existed, because people were telling you they liked when you drew this character. And so a lot of the times, in the very beginning, I didn't allow any of my students to post any fan art. I just said, just post lessons from the courses, because it will let you know how well you are truly doing as an artist. And if you start only listening to likes, well, then all of a sudden, when you get actual constructive criticism, you feel like someone's being a hater or whatever, right? Or you don't know how to take it, or you feel like you don't want to draw anymore. So people being worried about likes, that's a sure sign to be on the road to failing. Ooh, this is a rough one. The critic sitting next to you. What does that mean? Sometimes you are, especially when you're a young person, and this might be anybody. This might be your so-called friend. This could be your parent. This could be a spouse, a significant other, the critic sitting next to you. Oh, well, you should try and get a real job. Or yeah, I mean, it's okay, but all right, but whatever. And they're either dismissive of you or dismissive of you wanting to do art. And art is really important to you. If you are a creative or artist, and this could be anything, this doesn't have to be just visual art. You could be a singer, rapper, dancer, entertainer, whatever. This critic sitting next to you is constantly putting these little digs inside of you. And what I mean by digs, like they'll say stuff when you're excited about a piece that you finished, or you're excited to do something art related, and they say little stuff like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, all right, that's cool. Hey, let's all be famous. Hey, let's all be an artist." Or when they're around other people, they say things like, "Hey, this is my buddy, friend, singing. Yeah, he's an artist," and they laugh it off. Or this one kills me because I've heard people say this so much. "Hey, how's your little art thing going? Oh, how's your little comic book thing going? How's your little video game? How is your little?" This is your friend. This is your buddy. This might be your significant other. I ain't telling you to leave your significant other, but I'm telling you, this is a sure sign. When people don't have respect for something that you're passionate about, I mean, that should tell you a lot, right? And I think what this really comes down to is that when somebody isn't doing what they want to do, they don't want to see you doing what you want to do. They don't want to see you succeed. Yes, crabs in the barrel mentality, that is real, especially when it comes to art, because people take it for granted and they don't think it's good until you succeed. Then they start asking you for money. This leads into hand in hand into you are in the wrong circle. You don't have any creative friends around you. Not meaning that you need to have, if you want to do animation, yes, have some friends who do animation, or at very least have some friends that are entertainers, that are rappers, singers, dancers, writers, poets, whatever it is. People that are doing something creative. You're not even in a creative circle. This could be as surface level as all of your friends are working in office, right? And I don't mean get rid of your friends, but all your friends working in office, they're talking about office stuff. Or this could be as very deep as you are hanging out with a crowd that you shouldn't be anywhere near, right? These are the people that would much rather go out on the weekend and drink themselves into oblivion or do whatever than work on a project, because they don't have projects. They don't have things that they want to do. They don't have goals. They have no goals, period. Not even academic goals or whatever it is. They have no desire to improve. They might just be laying around all day and doing nothing, and they don't want to see you do anything. That kind of stuff is real. It happens, as I'm sure you know, especially if you're a young person, right? So I want you to think about this, especially to my young peeps out there, and some of you that are even, and I say young people because I'm 49 years old, right? So if you are around people that think, and I used to be a bartender back in the day, by the way. So I've seen people on more than one occasion spend $300 on drinks throughout the course of a night, every weekend. If you would have somebody who would if your circle of friends would much rather spend $300, but then make fun of you for spending $300 for an online course or some new art supplies or a new tablet, you're kind of in the wrong circle. It might be one of the reasons why you are failing at art. This is a big one. Listening to non-creatives. Now, it sounds like the last one, But a lot of the time, you might see people online that are part of the get rich quick crowd, right? And there's nothing wrong with people who do sales and marketing, but there is a group of people that I just call the get rich quick crowd. And I used to run this crowd back in the day, so I don't judge, but but I also happen to be a creative. These are the people that are telling you, and this can be demotivating because I know there's a lot of, you can make $7,000 a day doing this really simple thing with art, with AI. Let me tell you something. Anybody can Photoshop, and all my digital artists out there know this. Anybody can Photoshop a screenshot. Photoshop can do a whole bunch of stuff that you may not be realizing. But you are listening to non-creatives telling you about art. Right? You see all these videos that come up in your feed because you're saying you watch one. So this is how this normally happens because of the big old algorithm that's out there. You watch a video and you're like, I can't stand this AI art. It's demotivating me. And you watch a video where somebody is really going in on AI art. But then you keep getting a bunch of videos. AI art, AI art, AI. Make $1,000 a day. How I made $6,000 in one day on AI art. Oh, it's easy. All you have to do is this, and that. Some of the times people are telling you things that can get you in legal trouble, meaning sued, meaning having things that can cause you to. And by the way, you can't copyright. The United States Copyright Office is not, and there's videos about this, are not giving copyrights to AI generated art. Right? To me, AI is just another tool. At least the image generation software is, right? So you're listening to these non-creatives and people that are telling you, and they're telling you all this stuff, and they just don't know what they are talking about. They just have no idea. Or you are listening to people that are telling you you cannot make a living at art, but they're not creatives. They're just not. Now, if you are trying to do business and you want to market your art, great. Listen to those people. A lot of them are very knowledgeable. Some of them are completely full of it, in my opinion, and I could see through a lot of it because I used to do sales, which is a story in itself. I can tell you about. Well, anyway, I've worked in boiler rooms before. Go Google boiler room. So. I recognize when somebody is running game, as we like to say in the hip hop sphere of things in the 90s. I can tell when somebody's running game, and it just sounds, I'm just like, okay, if you want to believe that, that's fine. But you're listening to these non-creatives. Please don't listen to people that are not creative. This is a big one. Fear of failure, that's obvious, and success. Sometimes you are afraid to succeed, because success is scary. As someone who's had success, it's scary and overwhelming because there is this sense of, oh, it's about to go away. You don't want to succeed because you are also afraid that this success is just going to dissipate. It's just going to be gone one day and you won't know what to do once it leaves. Yeah, everybody has a fear of failure, but always remember that everything that you ever want in life is on the other side of fear. That's with anything. And I'm going to get into the last one. And this is a big one. This is, if I could just make a video on this next thing alone, first of all, you probably would not believe me, but and I definitely have some numbers to back this up, but I'm not going to get into, let's say, my student count. But here we go. They don't start. Many of you have heard of the 80-20 principle. 20% or 80% of the things that can be done are by 20% of the things that you can do can give you 80%, right? But that also cuts in a different way, because if you take a group of 100 people that want to make their own comic book. I can almost guarantee you, and it's not an exact 80-20, but about 20% of those people will actually start. 80% of the people won't do it. They just will not do it. There are people, and I just found this out because I started to look back at my own students, and I talked to some other instructors about this. I had been teaching on Udemy since 2016. There are people that bought my course in 2016 and have never started it. There are people who buy books and never open them. There are people who buy exercise equipment and never use it. And it just collects dust. That's why you can always find used exercise equipment. You can always find used music equipment and instruments. People just don't start. That is the number one thing I feel that people, the reason why people fail at any artistic or creative endeavor is that they just don't start. If you want to be ahead of 80% of your so-called competition, start. I mean, we're not even talking about, I'm not even talking about finishing a course, finishing a book, finishing anything. I'm talking about starting. People don't start. Now, hopefully I'm not an 80-20 on people not starting my own courses, but there is truth to it. Okay, so here's a pretty good example for my digital artists out there. So I recently started to sell some brushes, and I limited the number of brushes that I sold as far as how many brushes you will get in a pack, because I see something that I used to see back in the day. 600 Photoshop brushes, 1,500 brushes. Are you going to use 1,500 brushes? I mean, if you need 1,500 brushes, you probably should not be doing art. You should be doing something else. Seriously. 1,500 brushes, 800 brushes, 700 brushes. Even if you buy the brush pack, you're not going to use 800 of them. You might not even open those. You might not even put those brushes into your workflow. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there available for people, but they just don't start at all. It's a lot easier to sit around and dream and procrastinate and get to it and wait for motivation and wait for your friends to motivate you or whatever it is. But you got to start. You got to do something. You have to make a decision. That's the first part of it, I think, of getting started with anything. If it's a course out there that you already have on your computer, if you already signed up for it, just watch a video a day. You ain't even got to watch the whole video. Just press play. If you haven't, press play. See what happens. So I don't say this to demotivate, and even though I don't like the word motivation, I don't say this to make you not want to do art. But if you find yourself doing any of these things, that's probably some of the reasons. It's not your ability to draw or your inability, or should I say inability to draw or inability to sculpt or to paint or to digitally sculpt or to 3D model. So a lot of these external forces and internal forces that have absolutely nothing to do with the mechanics of art or the mechanics of creation. A lot of it is the things that are surrounding us. But the biggest thing is that you don't start. And if you think about it, this can just become a circle. You don't start. Why? You're afraid of failure and success. You're listening to non-creative people, so you don't start. You're in the wrong circle of people, so you don't start. Listening to that critic sitting next to you, and sometimes it might even be the inner critic that lives inside of you, right? You're worried about likes. I'm not going to get enough likes. Nobody's going to like my artwork. I'm not going to start. I need to be motivated. I need to be motivated. I'm not motivated today, so I won't start. See how this just kind of feeds on each other? Or I need to be motivated, and this critic sitting next to me isn't like all of this stuff feeds in together. If you found this at all helpful or this sounded like you, Don't feel bad. Don't give up. The most powerful thing that you can do is start and just build that momentum. That's the biggest thing that you can do. If any of the other stuff applies to you, do your best to work on it. We all make mistakes. We all fail. We all fall down. It happens. When you're trying to do your art, you're going to make 1,000 mistakes all of the time. You're going to make a ton of mistakes in every drawing session, in every sculpting session, in every writing session. You are going to make so many mistakes. Sometimes you're going to feel like, am I ever going to get this? That happens all of the time to every artist. At least I think so. So I hope you found this useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share it to somebody that you think this might help. If it's not you, it might be somebody else. Yeah, subscribe, like, share. Shameless promotion. Buy my stuff. And that's something you should get into saying once you make your first product. Buy my stuff. All right, guys. Peace. I hope this was helpful.